G'day guys, DuckPhil here, bringing you some PvP action. It's going to be some crazy fun in the PvP stakes. This is sent through to me from teammate Scar. He's going to be starting out at the bottom right hand side of Shakuras Plateau. He's going to be in the red here. As you can see, Scar Shield. Those of you who are familiar with Brood War may be getting a little bit of nostalgia going when you see the name Shield. It's one of the much older Brood War clans that was around. A lot of people were in that team, of course, or clan, I should say. There's a big difference between team and clan when it comes to Brood War, and I suppose in SC2 as well. But Bisu, C, all those sorts of guys were part of the Shield clan at one point or another, and we'll see how Scar goes today. He is a new acquisition for Dream Team Gaming. That's how he's probably going to need to switch over his name eventually. Hopefully one day a company will introduce a name change feature, and that'd be quite handy. But his player just up to the top, his opponent I should say, up to the top left hand side in the blue is Master Rush. So this is going to be pretty high level PvP shenanigans here from these two players. Both of these guys up in the higher echelons of the Korean Masters League. And we'll see what they get up to here. As you can see, one of the common things you do need to scout, I can certainly attest to from playing on the Korean server, is checking for cheese in all sorts of spots. Both of these players just making sure that there was nothing going on behind the grass or just near the grass down here at the third. It's always a very common thing to see, and it looks as if both of them are going to scout out. It looks like Scar is going to actually scout out correctly the first time, but Master Rush has actually got his probe going to the incorrect position. Not too much of a worry. I mean, nothing actually happens in PvP until just after the Cybernetics core is completed, unless there's some crazy cheese going on. So it's not going to be too much of an issue there for Master Rush. Both of these guys just opening up as standard can be. Looks as if we do have Scar just slightly ahead. His probes just numbering one up, and it looks as if he's going to be continuing that as well. In fact, as he puts down some chrono, he's just going standard chrono for the moment. It looks, oh, okay, there you go. Master Rush has actually saved up a little bit of his chrono. It's an important thing about scouting in PvP, I've mentioned it multitudes of times, is checking how much of the energy your opponent has in their Nexus. And actually, a quick snipe there by Master Rush, getting the probe of Scar, a little bit unfortunate for him, is going to take his second gas, and then is going to steal the gas of Shield, now, of Scar, I should say. And then this is quite annoying. In PvP, you don't want to get your gas taken. If you need to take your gas to prevent your opponent from getting it, and then, you know, don't mine out of it, that's cool, you know, because you've got to keep the options available. And if you scout out and you find that your opponent has taken their second gas, they're not going to be foregating or anything like that, then you need to really do the same thing as well, because of course, as in many of the matchups for Protoss, gas is a big thing. You've got to make sure you're on top of it and getting as much of that gas as you can, because of the obviously the high-tech units, the high-powered units that Protoss has. You've got to spend quite a lot of gas to get them out. So we'll see how these guys are going to proceed from here. Scar has removed the offending assimilator from his side of the map. It looks as if he's going to push out. A simple Stalker has already come out here for Master Rush, actually being caught out. Looks like the Stalkers from Scar are going to keep up with the chase there, but unfortunately getting a little bit blocked out. As you can see, the Zealot kind of blocked them for just a bit there, and that Stalker will get home and be able to get some more information back to his team back at home. So Scar looks as if he's going to go for, I'm not sure. There you go. The Robos come out really quickly. I'm a little bit surprised to see that. Not often you see someone do that when they have their gas stolen, but here we go. We've got a little bit of a battle at the ramp. Looks as if one of the Stalkers has already been blasted down. Two force fields did go down on the ramp, and the Zealot going to town on these Stalkers inside the main. One of the sentries inside the main, and it looks as if one of them is down to 5 HP. His shields are regenning. Looks as if Scar just wants to get a quick look at what's going on. Does see that the robotics facility is being constructed, and an extra 2 Stalkers for Master Rush come back in and will signal that Scar needs to get out of there. So we are probably going to see, yeah, it's just going to be a basic sort of 3-gate observer with Blink, of course, on those Blink Stalkers that are going to come out in great numbers, I'm sure. and we'll see how Scar goes about that. Of course, it requires a lot of micro. The one reason I'm not a huge fan of Blinkstalker plays is that if you don't actually get a lot of damage done, you can actually be in quite a lot of trouble. And speaking of damage, it looks like Scar was able to capture one of the Stalkers there from Master Rush, but just trading back one Stalker for each player there. And just looking at the units tab, we've actually got Scar just up a bit right at the moment with 4 Stalkers. He's going to bring in a couple more. He's got 1 warping in now, and he's got Chrono going down on that Blink. So he's definitely going to go for a very high-powered Blink play as fast as he can. Going to use some Observers to get some vision around this area here, and perhaps this one up on this side as well. Another option you can use if you're a little bit more sneaky is to get across to this side of the natural, blink up here, and then perhaps try and get some damage done here, because as mentioned in previous casts, when it comes down to playing at higher levels, sometimes you really need to stick this tech on the opposing side of the map to where your opponent is, so they can't snipe it out easily. This especially applies in PvP, where you've obviously got these situations where blink is a common threat. So we'll see how Scar is going to go about this. Master Rush does see that the Stalkers are on the way with that watchtower that he was holding for just a moment here, and this Observer, just having a quick look around the map, does see that there was a random Zealot that's been warped in. It's going to try and get inside before the reinforcements can come back, but he is not going to have any luck doing that. The Stalker's just getting back in time. We'll stop the Zealot before he gets inside and take him out just on the ramp. There you go. And it looks as if these players are having just a few battles around the map. We've got a Stalker battle over here. It looks as if this one from Scar was actually just chasing that one from Master around. And Master Rush has now got, as we saw before, that Robotics Bay is done. So he's really just teched up as quick as he could to get to that Colossus. And as we can see here, he does have one out along with an Immortal. We got a couple of Sentries, a few Zealots, and just a couple of leftover Stalkers that didn't die earlier. And it looks as if he's going to be able to find this Proxy Pylon here. Perhaps if he can get that Observer, that would be quite nice as well. But the Colossus being attacked here by the Blink Stalkers, not the best way to attack in there by Scar. He did actually get pulverized by that Immortal that's in the in that little group of units here for Master Rush. He's going to take down the Proxy Pylon, but this gets very interesting now because Scar is inside the main. He's going to get a good view of exactly what's going on inside here, and he even snipes out an Observer that was just floating across Force Master, and now it looks as if he may be able to get that Colossus after all. No, he doesn't. Going to have to back off there. There's too many Zealots to actually blink up on top. You'll get absolutely torn apart by those Psyblades, and then of course there is the Immortal in that big group as well. So of course getting in range of that is a big issue for these Stalkers. So Scar does the right thing, gets a little bit of damage, takes out a pylon, puts Master in the red, and then retreats and is going to take out these rocks here in a fit of rage because he lost a couple of those proxy pylons. But he does have a few others just across to the side, a very common position. Always make sure you're checking this side if you were spawning and wanting to try and get some attacking done. You've got to always check out for these proxy pylons that can go in these very common spots around this side of the map. And as we can see, the Stalker count of Scar is just really starting to beef up now. He's up to 15. The Extended Thermal Lance is just about halfway done. Another Colossus is on the way. If Scar wants to get some really good damage done, he needs to do it very soon. Once that second Colossus comes out, of course, that makes it a little bit harder to actually get all that damage done that you need. Now, Scar has actually picked up a couple of Zealots in the mix here, so he's going to be able to use some tanking there. He's got a probe just hanging out, waiting to see if he can get an expansion going, but I don't know if that's going to happen. No force field on the ramp there from Master Rush, but he does lose one. First down goes the Immortal. Second are these Zealots. I don't know what Scar is doing here, just sacrificing quite a lot of his units there. I don't really think that was the best play, because he actually did no damage to the Colossus, took a lot of damage from the Zealots as well, and realistically only got an Immortal and a couple of other units for his troubles. Now he tries to blink up and try and kill that Colossus, but he doesn't get there in time, and of course with that massive amount of damage done by these big units, he's not going to be able to realistically get any sort of damage here just for the moment. But back at home, he's decided it's time to get his expansion going. Got the Nexus on the way. A gateway is going to go down here, probably a pylon as well, targeting that down as best as he can, and blinks out. There you go. That is how you really need to play this blink style in PvP. You need to get damage done, and you need to get it done fast while you either tech up at home or, wow, okay, or get 2 Stargates. So that's a little bit interesting to see. We'll have to see what he does with those. Perhaps going to go for some Phoenix. Everyone who watches my stream will know that I love having a few Phoenix on the map. Or perhaps he might go for some Void Rays. I've seen people do these really odd switches where you go from Blink Stalkers just straight into Void Rays and just go crazy with those. They obviously do that extra damage to the Colossus, which really helps, and the Colossus, despite being able to headbutt Void Rays, can't actually do any damage to the Void Rays. And with a slightly lower Stalker count, just based on the fact that Master is going to have to put a lot of effort into getting these Colossus out, we may see just a slightly smaller Stalker count than you would normally see. And that may, yep, it's going to be Void Rays, a little bit weird from Scar. So, as I said, not something you see every day. He's gonna, I bet what he's going to try and do is just going to try and focus down the Stalkers once they get in range. As we can see, there's already one that's quite damaged here, and there's only 5 here in total. He's going to bring in a couple more. He doesn't have Blink, so they're not going to be able to bounce around and try and get as much damage on those other units as they can. But it looks as if the Stalker's taking advantage of the fact that Master was out of position there. He does bring him back. This is a good part about having those Blink Stalkers, is that you can just harass your opponent, keep him inside his base while you get your tech prepared. You'll be a little bit behind if once the damage starts to falter and you stop doing as much damage as you would like to do, but what you can do is get your economy going at a little bit of a better pace. As we can see here, Scar has actually got 32 probes to the 29 of Master, and now as we can see here, the Stalker's doing what damage they can, and now they've got to come back, and it looks as if the Colossus actually taking a break in the middle of the map here are going to catch out the Stalkers and killing quite a few of those there, even killing a tree. Someone call the fire brigade. That is not good at all, and a proxy pylon going to help out here, and it looks as if Scar is going to need some, a miracle here to defend this. I'm not actually sure how this battle is going to go. We're going to have, it looks to be about 5 Void Rays, maybe 6, but the Colossus are already inside. They've got a good amount of Zealots to tank as well, but there's not really too much to tank against. And a huge swath of probes goes down there. Just one massive swipe from those Colossi, and they all got torn to pieces. As we can see here, that really tore down the count of a Scar, and it looks as if he's going to just come in straight in here. Looks as if the Void Rays are going to go to work on those Stalkers there. As we can see, targeting down some of those as best as he can, and the Zealot's also on the ground, just really fielding some of that damage. And now there's only 1 Stalker left here. 4 Void Rays are still around. Whoops, the camera going a bit crazy there, and the Stalkers just doing their best to stay out of trouble, but the probes are going to need to evacuate as quickly as they can. More Void Rays just popping out now. We are going to have a total of 6 here for Scar. This could be a saving grace for the game, because as we can see here, it looks as if Master has not actually done too much with the rest of his economy. He's got Stalkers sitting back home. He's lost all of his minerals now, and in fact, so both players are not mining anymore right now. In fact, there you go, the probes come back for Scar, so he is going to be back in the mix here. The Void Ray's heading across, and I think that is going to be game, because there is really no way that Master is going to be able to defend against this. The Stalkers trying to block out the opposing Stalkers from Scar, and actually were not very good at that at all. They need to eat some more chocolate, because they were not fat enough to block that ramp, and the probes coming down, and they are not going to do enough damage at all. Zealots coming back, and that is going to be it. Master Rush, GG's out. That was a pretty crazy game with that very weird transition there from Scar, but of course taking advantage of the fact that Master had a very low count of Stalkers when he came in for that push. Was just able to just blast them down and then go for the Colossi and finish him off. So that was a very impressive game there from Scar from Dream Team Gaming. Make sure you check out Dream Team Gaming on Twitter at AllDayDreamTeamGaming. And you can see how the team is going on there. Scar doesn't have a Twitter as far as I know, but he does have a stream linked before. Make sure you check that out and see some high quality Protoss play. I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.